ladies and gentlemen, welcome to these right here are going to be some Futureshock's 100th show, their 11th anniversary show. Now before we go on, I need to address one tiny little thing. Mick, where's your Futureshock you should do last week? Well, there's a reason I didn't do it. I was going to do this vid as part of my NXT TakeOver Brooklyn review that I did last week. That was what I did say I was going to do, but I remembered when I did after I released my video, the Futureshock's on-demand service went live last Friday, the day before this their show. So what I thought to myself is, instead of writing a fuck ton of notes and missing things, and I've had a couple of digs of me about how apparently on the footage of Futureshock shows you can see me just sat on my phone as I'm frantically writing out my notes. That's where I store my notes. I don't want to have a fucking notepad and a pen and paper and everything. So at the end of shows, I will sit and write as much detail as down as I can think of. And I thought to myself that with the on-demand service coming along, and of course I'm going to be subscribed to the damn thing, so it's one of those, well, why don't you just not take any notes and do your review? Like, look, the show went live a couple of days after it had happened. So I could do my review a week later, not have to worry about any notes at all, and have the whole show there ready and waiting. So that is exactly what I've done. I've had a bit of a busy week, so it's taken until now to get this one done. So what I'll say before we go on is, if you want to watch this show, there is a link down in the description box where you can go and watch this show for yourself. But just for instance, some £5 or £8.50 a month will get you all of the shows that Futureshock has ever done. Well, how good is that? So, Futureshock 100 at the Longfield Suite in Prestwich. I think the show is sold out. I'm not entirely sure. If it's not far removed from being sold out. It's very full in the old Longfield Suite. And oh no, my tablet's turned off. Hang on a sec. Technical difficulties. Mark versus technology, eh? So, after a really good video package that shows highlights of the road to the 100th show, where it includes a freaking ridiculous reverse Rana, that's just not worked at all, has it? Technical difficulties. Show the reverse Rana that Durson and Alexander Cooper. Magic Mark Adams welcomes us to the show, and we see to my right, because I'm sat on the front row, of course, we've got a new boom camera that's an interesting development. We'll talk more of that later on. Our opening contest is Bubblegum defeating DDL. Good match, this one. The part of me that overthinks wrestling matches, and I do a lot, as you guys know, is because this match is happening just because. So it's one of those, but you know, that's just me. Can't deny it's a good match. DDL really makes me laugh in this one. There's a couple of times he gets in a couple of people's faces on the outside and starts shouting at them. So at one point, my boy Si, who's sat next to me, just stands up and is like, you want to get in my face, I'll get back at you. And he's basically, Si's offering to go and fight Bubblegum himself, and DDL's like, oh, I'll tag you in a minute. That was fucking great. One of those who has to be there things, some sort of it. There's some chops in this match by Bubblegum that are quite possibly the most evil that I've heard this year. So nasty sounding chops. Story of the match is nice and simple, isn't it? And every time that Bubblegum gets control of the match, DDL's manager, Chris Egan, interferes or does something that means that Bubblegum can't take advantage. So that's all good. What it means is that it plays into the finish, because Bubblegum goes to do a 619 on DDL, and Chris Egan basically puts himself in the way so that Egan is taken out. But then there's a roll-up finish. Super kick and a roll-up getting the win. And that was a bit of a deflator for me. I do not like roll-ups at the best of times, but it was one of those. I like it. I don't mind a babyface doing a roll-up finish when it feels like it's, I've tried everything I can think of, best try this. And that wasn't the case in this match. But at the same time, the crowd went absolutely fucking ballistic for it. So it's one of those, meh, it's just, you're on your own there, Mark, sort of thing. So that was all good. Next, Wonderland defeating Sexy Kev and Gentleman John McGregor. The mysterious lady who has been coming out with Wonderland is now billed as Penny Dreadful. I have heard that name before, but I cannot think where. Is that a TV show, Penny Dreadful? Because now I think about it. Anyway, can't help but think that the company missed the trick by not billing Sexy Kev and Gentleman John as Sexy Gentleman. Writes itself, surely, doesn't it? No, match is short and to the point. While John and Kev do get some offense in, it's all about making Wonderland look great here. So, Grodd especially hitting his smokestack sit-out powerbomb on Kev, hitting a truly monstrous spear on Gentleman John. Penny sprays mist into Kev's face. Well, I don't think is it mist? I mean, I call it mist because it's a substance coming out. It could be blood for all we know. Penny Dreadful in the Wonderland thing. It could be, it's red. It could be signify blood. Who knows? Yeah. And then Penny sprays the mist, we'll call it mist, into Kev's face, and then the two guys from Wonderland hit what I call as a foobar. Do you see? I don't know if it's actually got a name. I'm sure no. I've got it written on my notes. They call it, Chris Brooker on Comedy called it Beware the Jabberwock, which is a genuinely interesting name for a tag team finish. Like I say, it's short, but it did its job. Next up, Lana Austin winning a 4-woman gauntlet match to retain the... Bear with me, bloody door banging in the wind. Stop that. Yeah. Lana Austin winning a 4-woman gauntlet match to retain the Women's Championship. Violet Vendetta, who you know I absolutely adore, and Toni Storm starting us off. And no, I say that in a sarky manner, but to be honest, Violet really impressed me here because her and Toni Storm did some really nice crisp chain wrestling in this one. That was really good. Toni did roll up on Violet to eliminate her. Then as Lana Austin came out, and the two were just starting to get warm up. Danny Austin, why not? Danny Hunter came out and basically attacked Lana, and that caused a disqualification for Toni Storm, and you sat there going, right, a roll up and then a DQ in one match, and then to make it that little bit, come on, we saw it was Danny Hunter and Lana Austin, ... again. It was one of those, I've not seen this one before, have I? And made worse by, it was weird, on the night, I thought this was a lot longer, but watching it back on the DVD release, or the on-demand release, as it were, that lasted 3 minutes, and you started going, that's way too short, but at the same time, it was shortened to the point, and Lana scored a perfect spike DDT after 3 minutes of action to get the win. And it's like, I thought it was longer than that, but all I'll say here is I never ever want to see Lana Austin versus Danny Hunter ever again. Ever again. I must have seen these two girls wrestle 20 times in last year. Please, Futureshock, never ever again, unless there's a really good reason for it, and just don't want to see it. So next up, Jack Gallagher defeating Zach Gibson in a really good submission match. This was a match that I went into that I was genuinely looking forward to. Two of my favourites, with a stipulation that I always adore, a submission match, which means it's going to be technical, which means it's going to focus on body parts, yada yada yada. The look of utter disgust on my mate Si's face when Jack Gallagher came out was, I wish I'd got a photo of it, or I wish it had been shown on camera. Because see, Jack has always been billed as the gentleman or the grappler, Jack Gallagher, and I've always felt that I have got a lot of time for Jack. He's one of my absolute favourite wrestlers, but at the same time, he's always been quite a one-dimensional character. What does he do? He wrestles, and what else? That's it. It's one of those I let my wrestling do my talking for me sort of thing, and it's interesting because it's, like I say, it's quite one-dimensional. Now, I've seen Jack work as a heel in GPW, and there's a lot more to him than that. But here, he started adding elements to the character. So he's got a really great moustache. He wears leopard skin print trunks now. He's got a weightlifting belt. And he's billed as the extraordinary Jack Gallagher. I genuinely think it's brilliant. He looks like a wrestler from the early 1900s. If you look at NXT and what Simon Gotch is going for, and Aiden English, it's kind of like that, is the way that I would look at it. As I say, I think it's wonderful. I genuinely think the new music's really, really good and all that. The look of disgust on Si's face. It's interesting because when I went to Futureshock Slam a couple of weeks back, I was there with another friend of mine called Andy, and he had the exact look on his face, like, the fuck are you meant to be? And I glanced over to my left, my brother-in-law Alex is also at the show, the same look. So you got 3 of my mates all looking at Jack going, the fuck are you? And I'm saying, yay! I'm going to go through this one for you because this was really, really good. In a nice twist, Gibson worked the leg of Gallagher. Now, bear in mind that his finish move, the Shankly Gates, is a hammerlock. That was a nice little touch. Now, Gallagher, whose finishing move nowadays is the King Crab, a Boston Crab, started to work the arm. Nice little touch, like a feeling out process or so. But then, Gibson went to his stable, working the arm to set up the Shankly Gates finisher. At one point, he launched Jack so damn hard into the ring post that you actually thought that Jack had broken his shoulder. The way he cracked against the ring post was absolutely incredible. All the focus was on the arm. Jack sold it beautifully. Jack got a Taz mission, but Zack responded with his lung blower, live driver, and then locked on the Shankly gates. Gallagher was able to escape though. Gibson charged into a corner and slipped on a rope, meaning that Jack could get a dropkick and the ankle lock. Gibson kicked the arm to escape, hit a Tiger driver. He went to finish the match with a massive kick, but Gallagher ducked and was able to lock on the Boston Crab that got the win. This, guys, was fucking great. Really, really solid, enjoyable, technical match. Someone like me is always going to enjoy something like this a great deal. The focusing on the one body part, the selling was absolutely beautiful. Jack sold the arm so well. Like I say, that shoulder first into the ring post was, oh, it was horrible. It was one of those, damn, because it was one of those, we were right next to the ring post, so he came straight at us, and like I say, the force that he bounced, he took all the movement on his left shoulder, whole lot of it. So all his body weight was bounced on. Like I say, it cracked. You heard this noise that sounded like his fucking shoulder breaking into. It was wonderful. This was a match that I genuinely want. Anyone who's not seen a Futureshock show, or is maybe up in an hour or on the line, or thinking, oh, I might get that on-demand service, I would like you to go and watch this show for that match and come back to me and tell me what you thought. After an intermission where I got this was an interesting one. I'll just tell you this one. So I went outside to have it, so the guys could have a cigarette and all that. And I'd been speaking to my missus, because this show was in Manchester, and of course I live here in Stoke, and my missus had told me that there was a genuinely monstrous thunderstorm going on, alright? And while she's texting me this, I'm in the queue to go into the Futureshock show in glorious sunshine. Okay, so we come outside to have a bit of smoke, and like, bloody hell, those black clouds aren't off for me. So next thing you know, it is absolutely chucking it down, and I really do mean it. It's raining so hard, to the point where we got in the car, because we were out in the car park, and it's one of those, I really want this rain to stop sometime soon. Next thing you know, my phone goes, and it's Alex, who's sat inside, going, it's starting again, get your ass inside. You're like, no, oh no, we're going to miss everything. I really hope that wasn't too bright for you guys. Just noticed. I have to put a little thing over my flash. I film on my phone, right? Because I don't want to have a really expensive camera because the files will be too big. Film on my phone, and the only way that I know that it's still recording is if the flash is on. But of course the flash is so bright on the S5 that I can't see that, so I have to put a little bit of tape over it, and I had just noticed that it was over the lens. Oh, I hope that didn't look too bad. I'm going to have to do it all again. So anyway, yeah, I may have missed the entrances for the next match, but it was James Drake defeating Sona Durson, Ashton Smith, and Mark I Never Win Massa. Sorry, that's a little joke of ours. In an alright four-way match. This is Drake's first Futureshock match in ages. It's not been explained why him and the Blackpool Blondes split up, and of course the overthinking people part of me once again wants to say James Drake gets a title match because he does. But, that's me overthinking, isn't it? So, I'm sure 99.999% of the audience didn't give a flying fuck, and seeing as they're the ones that matter and not me, that's all that matters, isn't it? I'm not being sarcastic or insincere there, that's just how it is, isn't it? If I care, and that's me, but the majority of the public couldn't give a fuck. How's he got a title match? Because he has. And do you care? Not in the slightest, and it'll be a good match. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So, some good stuff in this one. Massa with a monster spinebuster. Dual suicide dives by Smith and Durson. A huge Rana, believe it or not, by Massa, but not a reverse one, so it doesn't really count. Sona hit his Sonosphere neckbreaker and a massive frog splash, but Ashton Smith then chucked Sona out of the match, wanting to get the pin himself, but Drake rolled him up for the win. It's all good. This match I enjoyed to a point on the night, thought it was alright. On the second viewing, watching this on the DVD / on demand was far, far more enjoyable for me. And the reason for that is I hadn't actually noticed just how good James Drake was in this match. It was one of those, it was alright, wasn't it? On the second viewing, James Drake is everywhere in this match. He is always working with whoever's in control. James Drake wants to double team with them, or team up with them, or what have you. When the person doesn't want to work to him, he just fucks off and stand outside the ring like, you do it then. He faked a knee injury when the finishing sequence was going down, so that he was actually on the outside of the ring when the Sonosphere and the Frog Splash happened. And then he's like, oh, my knee. And then as soon as Ashton Smith had got rid of Sona, he charged into the ring. Nothing wrong at all. Rolled him up, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Drake was legitimately impressive here. He was absolutely amazing as the cowardly heel. I genuinely got a kick the second time round out of watching this match. Next, Xander Cooper defeating Dave Rain to retire Dave Rain. Build-up package to this one was so damn good. It was proper goosebump inducing stuff, really well put together. Dave Rain's entrance was something else, genuinely impressive stuff. You had various people come out as various incarnations of Dave Rain. It was nice to see the old retro pop music, which of course was before my time. So there's people who were there who back in the day knew it. They popped like some beers. That was really, really good. It made Dave look like such a star. He came out dressed as Marty McFly because the theme to this show was Back to the Futureshock, so it was a very Back to the Future-esque, you know. That was all good. At the last Uproar show, we got a Dave Rain's Greatest Hits, I think I described it on my review, and so I was worried this match might feel like a bit of a foregone conclusion, as it were. It was interesting because on the way there, all of us, all the guys, when we were in the queue and all that, we were talking about what we were expecting to happen in the main event, and I put out the theory because everyone was Dave's retiring. I put out the theory. Well, hang on, but what if it was all done as a ruse? What if it's they did the Greatest Hits and then they did all this stuff and all these promos where Dave looked sad and all that, and it was all to make you think, oh, he's going to lose. But then he wins, and that's what I did. I went into this one wearing my red Dave Rain shirt. I believed on this night, right? How's that sound? So I'll go through a couple of things that happened in this one. Jesus H. Christ, Xander hit a German suplex on Dave into a pillar on the outside. That was quite nasty. And then he hit the moonsault. Now, Xander Cooper's moonsault lands about as often as Kurt Angle's moonsault does, so that was quite a surprise. Cooper worked over the left arm, which is always, you know, Dave's got a great big shoulder brace on, so Xander worked over the left arm until the referee got bumped. We'll talk about that later on. Dave got a RKO, a pop-up powerbomb, and a Texas Cloverleaf, which is my favourite submission move, so yeah, big props for that one. But out came the Uprising. Dave got rid of Don Micho with one punch. He hit one punch and down he went. Unless I missed something here, one punch, Don Micho went down and stayed down. He got rid of Ryan Hendricks with his old finishing move. I think it's called the Rain Check, although I'm not sure. It's a spinning spike DDT. It's fucking gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful move. He hits a backcracker and then a TKO on Cooper when a new referee comes out. He pulled out by Danny Hunter. So Dave did what he had to do and hit a massive dive onto Danny Hunter and Ryan Hendricks on the outside. It was fucking great. Cooper though went low behind the referee's back, hit an MXC3. It only got a 2. We, the fans, at this point, I think we all believe this is Dave's to win now. If he can get rid of the Uprising and he can survive Xander Cooper's finishing move, this one's game on. He is going to win, isn't he? Cooper had other plans though, hitting a Fisherman's Neckbreaker and a Falcon Arrow. Dave kicked out again, but then a second MXC3 got the win and retired Dave to stunned silence. The closest I can get, and I really hope this isn't overselling for you guys, is I don't know if this came across as well on the DVD / on demand as it did live, but this was Undertaker's streak ending sort of stuff. You just believed. You believed that Dave could win, and it was there was just silence. There was nothing. It wasn't a boo, it wasn't a cheer. It was just it was such a deflating feeling. It's like, oh man, thoroughly enjoyable match. Dave was the first Futureshock wrestler that I really gravitated towards on my first show. It was Dave versus Colt Cabana, and he was the first guy that I was like, yeah, this guy's fucking great, and I've been a massive fan of his ever since. And it's going to be very weird to go to Futureshock shows and him not be on there. But here's what I've got written on my notes. I've got all that what I've just said there, and then a big long line of dots and said, but no one ever retires in wrestling, do they? So I'm pretty certain of it. Or is that just wishful thinking? In the main event, the Models defeating the American Wolves in a great TLC match to win / retain / regain the Tag Team Championships. So the Models won a tables match a few months ago against the Uprising, won the tag team belts, and then some guys attacked them and stole their belts. Some guys were revealed to be the American Wolves, who then challenged the Models to a tables, ladders and chairs match in one of those, that's a bit odd, but I've been informed, because, well, for me it's one of those, why are you the heels challenging them to a stipulation match? Why aren't you just having a match? But apparently what I've been told, because I overthink wrestling, as we all know, it's one of those, I like my matches to have reasons, but I've been told that apparently in TNA, the Wolves speciality gimmick match is a TLC match. Now, of course, I can't confirm or deny this because I don't watch TNA, but, you know, that's as long as there's a reason for it, no problem whatsoever. Trust me. And a nice little touch that you didn't notice live on the night is that there's a Wile E. Coyote sort of camera in the tag belts from the top. That was great. So the first thing you see is Magic Mark Adams looking up and going, oh, that is very high. And you say when he's looking up, he's looking into the camera. Now on the night, of course, we just see him looking up at the belts going, oh, that's really high. But yeah, he's actually looking into the camera. That was great. That was really, really good. One of the main reasons I wanted to wait to review this show, instead of just doing it on the night and writing notes like I told you at the start, but the other reason is that halfway through this match, the models and the Wolves fucked off and did some crowd brawling. I've said on previous Brit Wrestling reviews that I don't like crowd brawling because you can't see it. You've got three choices, haven't you, really? You can sit in your seat and not see anything. You can stand up, so that means that every fucker behind you can't see. Or what was the third one? Or you can... Oh yeah, so if they do what they did here, if they actually just leave the room entirely, you're just sat there going, well, I don't know what to do now. So I wanted to watch the DVD / on demand. That's 4 times I've said that, isn't it? Just say on demand. Jesus. The reason I wanted to watch the on demand is because I wanted to see what I missed, because I stayed in my seat the whole time. So, anyway. Before we get there was some fun spots. The example being models being set up on the outside. They put onto some chairs and it looked like the American Wolves were going to suicide dive onto them. But as the Wolves came running in, models stood up with the ladder and went bing, and then it went poof into the ladder. That was really nice. A few minutes later, Joey Hayes was German suplexed through a table set up in the corner. Brutal looking spot. But then, in the bits I didn't see, they brawled around to the merch table side. That "This is awesome" chant breaking out as they're going, and you know, both on live and watching this back, you're rolling your eyes going, shut up, chant it later on. 4 times it happened in this match. 4 times. If you save the first 3 to the last one, it's like they know I'm filming. Protein bars, £1 from B&M. Well happy about that. Anyway, do you want to guess what it is? I mean, no one's watching this, but do you want to have a guess? It's a fucking ambulance, of course it is. Yeah, if the fans, right, had saved up that "This is awesome" to the last time that they chanted it, and chanted it at the top of the lungs, I would have fucking joined in. 4 times in one match. Oh, I fucking hate wrestling fans. You're all so irritating. Davey grabs Joey Hayes and pile drives him onto the merch table, which doesn't break. It looks fucking great. It must be one of those Japanese tables. Then they brawled outside into the foyer, right? They gave the models some beats, the Wolves did, came back outside, grabbed one of the merch tables, put it in front of the door, and then grabbed 2 random guys and threw them on top of the table so the models physically couldn't get in. And this was one of those, that's very, very clever, actually. The Wolves then nonchalantly walked to the ring and started climbing the ladder, but the models must have gone around the whole of the building to get back inside and appeared on the entranceway. That was a nice little touch. Models went into evil mode. How dare you try and pile drive me onto a table? They got Eddie Edwards in a corner, right, and put a ladder on his testicles, straight on him, and then got a chair and basically played fucking golf or cricket with him. That bam, 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 onto the ladder. So went into his balls. Hilarity ensured. In fact, well, so the children in the audience were laughing their asses off. So every man in the audience was going, ooh, and every woman goes, no. That was funny. So then they got Dave Richards came, oh, now you're gonna die, you're pissed, you've done that, now you're gonna die. They 2 dropped toe hold, so he was face first into Eddie Edwards' balls, which of course is the same reaction. And then they get another ladder, put that into Davey Richards' balls, and basically do the same thing. So they start whacking this ladder into Davey Richards' balls. And of course Davey Richards is face first in Eddie Edwards' balls. So of course the shock is transferred through Davey Richards' whole body. This was fucking wonderful. This was all kinds of good. The Wolves responded by hitting a super kick / brainbuster combo onto a chair on Joey Hayes, then put Danny Hope onto the table and hit a double stomp on him through the table. Melanie Price distracted the Wolves, allowing the models to hit a snapshot through a table and then climb the ladders and get the belts. This match was so much better than I was expecting it to be. Don't get me wrong, I went into this one thinking this is going to be a good match. But of the submission match and the title match and the TLC match, this is the one that I was looking forward to the least. I'll tell you why, and it's basically because Futureshock's such a family company. What I'll say is the night before at Fight Club Pro, I didn't see the models at all, that'd be ridiculous. I saw the Wolves versus Mustache Mountain, and they beat the piss out of each other. It's an over 18 sort of environment, isn't it? It's an adult show, so of course they swear and they do all this. And I was expecting this TLC match to be very, very tame. Is probably the best way I could describe it, and it just wasn't. It was really, really brutal. It was all out. The only thing missing was blood. Oh wait, there was blood. Eddie Edwards got busted open on the side of his face. There was blood. There was a TLC match with blood in a Futureshock show, a family show. These four men all really brought their A game. I mean, it's such a stupid thing to say. It's Danny Hayes and Joey Hope. Why not? You know, two of the best workers in the country, and then you've got two of the greatest workers in America, Eddie Edwards and David Richards. You know, it's one of those. Why did you expect it not to be very good? It's the family atmosphere. You know, I was quite critical of the Ultimate X match at the 10th anniversary last year, saying this wasn't that great. I didn't think this was alright. This was so much better. This was what it, this is what it needed to be. This was very, very good. Wolves got on the mic afterwards and put everyone over, and they did a really good thing where the four of them posed, because of course the Wolves are the TNA Tag Team Champions, so they held up their belts. Models held up. You know, they did the four of them in a really nice little pose. That was really, really, really good. A really, really strong show from Futureshock. All three of the matches that I expected to deliver did, and then everything else was at least alright, if not good. It was definitely, it was better than their 10th anniversary show. I really genuinely strongly believe that. There is nothing bad in it at all. I can't recommend this show enough, and of course, like I say, the link to it is if you're there saying, yeah, this sounds really good, I'd like to give that a try, look down below, the link is there. Go and check it out, please do. I really would like you to do that. Okay, now, it's only a £5 as well. I mean, come on, it's £8.50 for the month, but you can watch the individual show for a £5 or something like that. Why wouldn't you just pay £8.50? You can get lots of shows. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love it if you went and checked out this show. I really hope you've enjoyed this video where I've waffled on for ages. I'm sorry if you were waiting for this a week ago. I hope my reason why I didn't do it is okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Mark P. Thank you so much for watching. Futureshock return on the 20th of September at the Guildhall in Stockport. I would thoroughly recommend anyone who is interested in the slightest bit in wrestling and can get there to do so. You will not have a bad time, I guarantee it. Alright, mate. I don't know why I said that. Alright, guys, take it easy. See you soon.